In this CARS tutorial, I'll be demonstrating how to create a $0 subconsultant invoice with previous paid amounts. If you are the prime consultant and are invoicing in CARS for the first time, but your subconsultants have either previously completed all of their work on this project or are simply not invoicing on this project during this time period, how can we get their information into CARS? So what you see below are the summary of the invoice in CARS, and this is found at the bottom of the CARS summary invoice screen. In the red here, this only includes the information about your particular part of the contract and the contract maximum and the remaining agreement balance, so the amount that's left. And obviously you see nothing has been paid on this particular project at this time. Below, you will see the contract paid summary. This is the information that has the prime contract maximum, the subcontract maximum, as well as any amendments, so what amounts are due in each of those areas, as well as at the very bottom, the total contract maximum, so what's due to you and your subconsultants. So you can see here that we have this amount here, and we've also got the $0 previously paid on contract. So what if you've got some subconsultants that have invoiced prior to CARS? We need to get their information in there so the correct amount is displayed. So the prime or higher tier consultants can enter in a $0 invoice for the subconsultants and then include their previous paid amounts. You can do this for all bases of payments. I do want to show you how to take care of actual cost or the lump sum invoices. They have to work with the percent fixed fee per complete, so something I want to be able to demonstrate to you. I am working as Mario, processing on behalf of Acme Incorporated, and I want to create an invoice. So we've got 3 subcontracts: Betamax, C+, Amos Enterprises, and some of those have invoiced to me prior, but it's prior to CARS, and some are sending invoices up to me that are basically $0 invoices just to get CARS all straightened away. So let's go ahead and create an invoice. Just fill this in quickly. So this is my component of the invoice. It's a lump sum, so real easy for me to figure out. And here are the screens that I was showing before. This is the amount that Acme Incorporated will eventually be paid. And this amount below is the contract paid summary. So this includes all of the prime amount, which is mine, but I've also got $42,000 plus worth of subconsultant invoices, and a total contract maximum for everyone of almost $114,000. But we know that other subconsultants have been paid on this, so this number is not right. And if this number is not right, then the remaining agreement balance is also not correct. So what we need to do is go ahead and include those invoices in CARS, even if they're $0 amounts, just to get this number right, which will therefore make this number correct. So let's start off by just doing my little bit. I'm a lump sum. I'm going to click Edit. I'll say I was invoicing prior to CARS, and we'll say I have previously invoiced for $5,114.25. I'll click Save, and I'll say that I am 35% done. So I'll click Save Lump Sum. Total lump sum due $25,000. That would be minus the $5,114. So this particular invoice, Acme Incorporated, is due almost $20,000. So that information is now reflected down here. But what about my subs? I'm going to go ahead and click Accept Include Invoices because perhaps they have invoiced up to me. I've got two here now. I've got one from Amos Enterprises. I actually know that they did some work for me. See, invoice total of $788.11. I'm going to go ahead and view that invoice. And they have a cost per unit, which is really simple. They're just invoicing for this amount. And I know that their work is good, so I'm going to go ahead and include their invoice in with mine. So I'm going to include it. Now I have C+. They have an invoice total of $0. But let's see what happens here. I click on this, and they have a lump sum. So they have earned to date $1,487.12. I'm going to click View Details. So they have previously invoiced external $1,487.12, and they are stating that they are almost 11% complete. So invoiced externally 11% of this amount, meaning they've basically created a $0 invoice. And this is just to get cars caught up. So these two numbers equal each other. So I'm going to click back here. And this actually looks good. All this does is get cars caught up so that that contract summary area is correct. So I'm going to go back to include invoice, and I'm going to include this invoice. And finally, I'll go back again. What I'm missing is the invoice from Betamax. They aren't invoicing to me during this time frame, but I do want to get them into cars so we can get that contract paid summary amount correct. So I'm going to click here and select Betamax and create the invoice. I'll fill in the information. And click Save. So Betamax has an actual cost basis of payment. So we've got two components here, actual cost and fixed fee. The actual costs are really easy because they are not going to incur any extra costs on this invoice. But the fixed fee, we have to watch the earn to date part because we need to match that with the percent fixed fee complete that's done. So let's go ahead and click Edit. Were there any invoices for this contract project, yes or no? And I'll say yes because they have invoiced to me prior to being in cars. So let me put in an amount here. I'll put in $5,000.01. Previously fixed fee amount. Let's go ahead here. I have this spreadsheet up. Betamax. They've invoiced to me $2,511.88. So I'm going to put that in there. And I'm going to click Save. So I'm going to click back now. And we're going to see why this is important to match up the fixed fee percent complete. Because this invoice right now is for negative $2,511.88. And I need to make sure this gets back down to zero. So I just created a little formula here. We've got the fixed fee amount, $8,054, and we've got the previously invoiced and paid fixed fee of $25.11.88. And then we just do a little bit of math to do and divide by this, and we get 31.1854%. So that's the number we need to remember. I'm going to click Edit, and we need to change this amount down here to be 31.1854 and click Save. So now we have this amount here should match this amount here, and it does. So let's go ahead and click back. And we've created this invoice for them, and it is a $0 invoice. But what it does do is it gets those previously incurred amounts into the CARS application. I'll submit it. And then I'll go back to the higher prime tier invoice. And I can go to accept include invoices. And it's $0. I'll include it. Now I'll go back. And I have my invoice amount right here. And I've got my 3 subs, 2 of which are $0 invoices. And I have all of this information here caught up. Remember, this summary, that's just for Acme, but the contract paid summary is for Acme and the 3 sub-consultants that are underneath it. And what changes is this previously paid on contract and the remaining agreement balance. So now when I submit this to into CARS, submit this up to WSDOT, the project manager will be able to see that this information here is accurately reflected on that invoice.